Welcome to the balcony farm. It's mid-June 2026. Just on the balcony, having my coffee, burning some things, and just enjoying the morning and making plans for the week. But today I wanted to talk about volunteering in farms around the UK and my experience with that. I have some experience, especially since COVID. Beginning around 2020, I've had various volunteering roles in city farms, in London, and also outside. And I don't know, for some reason I just remembered those experiences today. And I wanted to share. In many cases, those experiences were positive. I learned some things. But it was also interesting to get a first-hand experience of some things that I've heard about the farming world. And frankly, I don't think I'll go back to volunteering again in those spaces. A few reasons. Number one, before I get into the reasons, there are actually lots of opportunities to volunteer in farms across the UK, even in London. The first experience was actually not far from here, at a farm, kind of a city farm near Waterloo. It's moved now. If you look back on my channel, you'll see. And it started out really well, and the work they were doing was really good. But there were some certain individuals that made it a bit difficult. Even though I was only going there once or twice a week, and there were certain people there, not necessarily the managers, that just made it difficult. And because of the way it was run, the managers weren't always around to observe and make sure things were done. People behaved properly, and that didn't always happen. So there were some volunteers who just acted like they ran the place and didn't behave as they should towards other volunteers. So after about 1.5 years, maybe 2, I just left that. Didn't really say anything to anybody. I mean, I did speak to one person in particular who was the problem, and just told them that I didn't appreciate that behavior, and gave them feedback. I was diplomatic, I wasn't rude, but I was clear about addressing that behavior. So moved along. Another city farm where I volunteered, that was actually great. That was closer to home, in Vauxhall City Farm, actually. The only thing there, actually, I would have carried on was, that's more of it may have changed, but it wasn't on the scale that I would wanted the farming side to be. So they did lots of animal care, lots of public outreach work with kids. So that was more of their focus rather than farming. So that was the only reason why I didn't carry on with that. The people were very nice, and I wish, in a way, because it's the closest one to me, that I could have carried on, but it's just the focus wasn't farming in the sense that I was interested in. But that was a very good, positive experience. And then I signed up for WOOF. Some of you may be familiar with that. I think it stands for World Opportunities for Organic Farming, something like that. World Organization for Organic Farming. I think it's a UK-based organization, but they have chapters all over the world. And you can volunteer in return. For example, if you're traveling, you can volunteer in return for accommodation. So that's a very big program all over the world. So I signed up. Through that, I found a farm, in a family-owned farm in Kent. And that was a trek for me to get there. And I did that maybe for a few months. And it started out really well. It was a really good experience. But again, it kind of veered into other areas beyond farming, because the owners were also running in the summer. They were kind of running an Airbnb business alongside, where people could go and stay on the farm, and that required some work to make sure everything is set up properly and guests are looked after. And there was a danger of my volunteering role veering into that space, which I was not interested in. I'm not interested in hospitality or that side. I mean, I can understand it makes sense for them, but for me, I was just focused. I wanted to focus more on the farming and not on that side of the business. And there were also a couple of times when I messaged them to say I couldn't make it because things came up that were beyond my control. I was also working, I was accommodating this volunteering role. And their response wasn't great. It wasn't very understanding. And it wasn't a paid role. So that I didn't appreciate that attitude. Some entitlement there to free labor. So I cut that short, because I do not tolerate entitlement. And that was that. There was also a one-off, because sometimes these one-off opportunities come up, again through WOOF, and it was a farm. The name begins with P. The name escapes me. Somewhere. It's not far from Kent. I went there, and it was just for a day of helping the farmers with some maintenance, some weeding, some upkeep, because they just needed some help. It was just a husband and wife team. So they put a call out, say, for volunteers for a day to come in and help them out. It sounded great, and I'd been following them on YouTube, so I was familiar with their story. But when I turned up, the lady was really good. She did her best. But the husband, he didn't even want to talk to us. And there wasn't even... I turned up, I think I was there for about because it was so far. I got there around lunchtime, and I was there until about 6. I was the last one to leave. I was there for 4 or 5 hours. There wasn't even an offer of a glass of water. It was summer. We were working out there. I mean, thank God I had my own bottle of water. Not a single offer for some, just even some drinks or just something to eat. Nothing. Just work, and when it was finished, bye. And I thought, wow, people come all the way here to help you. And I mean, at least the lady tried. She made some, small talk, and she gave me a lift to the station, actually. But I am on my way back, so I thought, yep, never going back there again. So out of all of those, probably the best experience I had was the most recent one, where I have been volunteering. Less I haven't gone for a while, but the one in Chigwell, northwest, near in Walthamstow Forest in Hawkwood, at a farm. It's a regenerative farm. It's a co-op. They have a community-supported agriculture. They do campaigning. There's education, training, all sorts of things going on. And I had a really good experience there. It's called Organically. And the only reason I'm not going there is just time and the distance from here. It would take me an hour and a half most days to get there. So I was spending almost 3 hours commuting, and I just couldn't do it on my day off. So, but hopefully one day I'll go back. So yeah, I just wanted to share some of those experiences. I don't know why I remembered it today, but for some reason I was sat here and my mind wandered off, and thought I would share. Because volunteering in these farms was a way of learning, but also experiencing farming in a way that I couldn't, because this is a balcony. I call it a balcony farm, but yeah. So, but all of it was a learning experience. I don't regret any of it, and it's always good to have some time. Well, not always, but sometimes it's good to have your own first-hand experience about that side of things. And anyway, I have my own little farm now, and I don't really need any volunteers here. But if I did have my own farm one day and had volunteers, I know I have some ideas about how they should be treated. I also know it's difficult to have volunteers. It's not easy to manage that. So I definitely get that from the farmer's perspective. Some of them make it very clear that they don't even take volunteers, and I completely understand that. It's just where you do have volunteers, how you manage that. Both sides need to work together to make it a good experience all around. But otherwise, that's it. That's how the balcony farm is looking. It's almost, I think we're 2 weeks away from the summer solstice. And the long days are wonderful. I've just watered all of my plants, so they're recovering, because I hadn't watered for more than a week. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.